Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an IT support engineer, a sysadmin, or really anyone wrestling with complex operational environments, you absolutely know the daily grind. You crack open your laptop, fire up your tools, and kick off the exact same manual setup ritual. You're splitting terminal panes, establishing SSH connections, tailing remote server logs, pinging health endpoints, dragging up today's config files. It's a painfully repetitive process, right? It literally drains your mental energy before you've even tackled your first ticket of the day. But what if you could turn your text editor into a fully automated control plane? Today, we're engineering an absolute masterclass in workflow automation using Visual Studio Code. Just look at the stark contrast we've got here. On the left, there's your typical before state. 5 separate terminal windows, navigating directories, running scripts, opening files. We're talking 20 or more agonizing mouse clicks just to get your baseline environment running. Listen, mouse clicks and window switching, they're the ultimate enemies of a senior engineer's productivity. Every single context switch is a tiny leak in your focus. Now check out the after state on the right. One single keystroke. One quick chord on your keyboard that completely orchestrates your entire diagnostic environment within a sample project folder. Seriously, why are you still paying this morning tax? Because that's exactly what this manual setup is, a tax you're paying every single day, and frankly, it is entirely unnecessary. The tools to eliminate this completely, they already exist right under our noses in the editor we're using all day long anyway. Okay, let's dive into this and uncover exactly how we can reclaim those lost morning minutes by tapping into the core engine of VS Code automation. Section 1. Demystifying the tasks.json file. So our journey from 20 tedious clicks down to one single keystroke starts by understanding the hidden machinery of Visual Studio Code. We're talking about a very specific file that lives inside your workspace, the tasks.json file. You'll find it tucked away in the hidden .vscode folder of your project. But don't just think of it as another basic config file. Think of it as a workspace-specific automation manifest. It acts as a control plane, bridging your underlying command line utilities directly with the graphical interface of the editor. Basically, it takes those isolated CLI commands, your pings, your SSH tails, your curls, and turns them into native, executable actions right inside your editor's environment. And while we're super focused on tasks today, keep in mind this manifest works beautifully hand-in-hand with your launch.json configurations, letting you run these tasks seamlessly right before kicking off a debugging session. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how simple the foundation actually is. The schema of a task is elegantly straightforward. You've got a label, which is honestly just the human-readable identifier you're going to see in the UI. Then you have the type, and this one's absolutely crucial. A shell type executes the command inside a terminal, like Bash or PowerShell, which is great for piping and environment variables. A process type, on the other hand, launches a binary directly, which can be faster and saves you from dealing with annoying shell escaping issues. Then you've got the command itself and an args array for all your flags. It's really just a structured, organized way of writing down exactly what you'd normally type out by hand. Section 2. Creating custom log tasks. Okay, understanding the theory is great, but let's actually put this into practice. We're going to build the very first practical piece of our automation foundation for a typical IT support environment, a custom task to monitor remote logs. Generating this file is incredibly fast. Step 1. Hit Ctrl-Shift-P to blast open the command palette. That's your gateway to literally everything in VS Code. Step 2. Type and select Tasks Configure Task. Step 3. Choose Create Tasks JSON file from Template, and just pick the Others template. Step 4. Boom. You now have a blank canvas where you can define any custom shell command you want. Let's look at exactly what we're going to drop in there. Right here is our custom log tailing task. We set the type to shell and the command to ssh server tailf error.log. And this brilliantly illustrates the real power of VS Code's presentation options. By setting panel to dedicated in the presentation object, VS Code instantly knows to isolate this output. It is not going to share the terminal with your other messy build scripts. Nope, it gets its very own dedicated, cleanly labeled pane right in the integrated task runner terminal. You can even set this as a background task, meaning it just runs silently in the background until you actually need to check it. How cool is that? Section 3. Chaining with compound tasks. Having one automated log tail is a fantastic start. But come on, as an IT engineer, you never just do one thing at a time, right? You need to tail a log, run a health check, open a configuration file, the whole shebang. So how do we actually execute more than one thing at a time? Let's move to the depends on array and see how this builds our automation pipeline. A compound task doesn't actually have a command of its own. Instead, it uses this depends on array. You simply list out the labels of the other tasks you've already built. By default, these bad boys run in parallel, which is absolutely fantastic for speed if you want to kick off an SSH logtail and an API health check at the exact same millisecond. But if you need safety, say you need to ensure a database port is fully forwarded before you run a query script, you just set depends order to sequence. This safely chains the execution one right after another. As Steve Kinney notes in the source material, compound tasks allow you to run multiple tasks in sequence. This is useful for orchestrating complex workflows. That hits the nail on the head. This is exactly how we transition from running single isolated scripts to creating a fully orchestrated IT support workflow directly within the editor itself. Section 4. The One Keystroke Workflow. All right, this brings us to the grand finale. We're going to tie all of these concepts together into a real-world support scenario. We are building the holy grail, the one keystroke workflow where an engineer starts their shift completely automated. So the crucial point is how we combine these three distinct IT actions into one seamless compound task. Step 1. Our first task tails the error log over SSH in a dedicated terminal pane. Step 2. Our second task runs a ping or curl against our application's health check endpoint. Step 3. Now this one is pure magic. We use the internal vscode.open command built directly into the editor's API to automatically open the project-specific configuration file right in our editor window. We wrap all three of these into a single compound task. You can even set this entire orchestration as a pre-launch task in your launch.json so it fires off automatically before you even start debugging. But for a pure IT support shift start, how do we trigger it without ever reaching for that mouse? We map it to a keyboard shortcut. By opening up your global keybindings.json file, you can bind a chord, in this case Control-K followed by 1, to the internal command workbench.action.tasks.runTask. In the arg section of that key binding, you simply pass the exact label of your brand new compound task. With this setup, VS Code completely bypasses the command palette. You just press the keys, and the orchestration begins instantly. Let's bring this full circle and really look at what we've accomplished here. On the left, we have the old way. Manually opening terminals, running your tail commands, splitting the pane, typing out your ping commands, and navigating the file explorer just to open your settings. It's a tedious, agonizingly slow, and error-prone routine. On the right, we have the new way. You sit down, open your VS Code workspace, press Ctrl-K1, and just watch as your editor instantly sprouts a dedicated logtail, fires up a health check readout, and opens your configuration file right in front of you. It's a total game changer. You have effectively engineered away the morning tax. By utilizing tasks.json, compound dependencies, and a custom key binding, you've transformed VS Code from a simple text editor into an absolute automated command center. So, as you look at your own daily routines and those repetitive diagnostic checks, the only question left to ask is, you've eliminated the manual clicks and reclaimed your morning? What will you automate next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and start building your ultimate workflow.